A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, and I hope that you are safe wherever you are. And I would like to start by saying thank you to PSC for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about the work of the Global Platform for Sustainable Natural Rubber. My name is Stefano Savi, and I'm the director of GPSNR. But before I tell you a bit more about our work, let me start by introducing what I understand could be a new world for many of you, which is the world of natural rubber, and specifically of sustainable natural rubber. So natural rubber is a key ingredient, especially in the production of vehicle tires and other type of tires, but it's also an important ingredient in a plethora of other products, including products that are utilized by the pet industry. Rubber is the product of a sap of a tree called the Hevea brasiliensis, which, as the name tells, is originated from Brazil, but has taken up now its key cultivation hub in Southeast Asia, and specifically in Thailand and Indonesia, where the trees are grown by, in large number, smallholders. 85% of the production of natural rubber actually comes from smallholder farms of the small size of 1 to 2 hectares each. Natural rubber is a great product, is a renewable source, but the increased production and demand for natural rubber, an increase of about 3 to 5% per year, could, if not done sustainably, cause negative impacts on environment, on people, and on prosperity. And these are impacts such as the possibility of deforestation caused by the expansion of plantations, an impact on the communities that rubber plantations can affect negatively sometimes. But also it's important to understand that, especially in periods of low prices for the commodity, in many cases, and this is what we've seen especially in the last years, the production of this commodity hasn't driven the expected necessary livelihoods for the smallholders that are producing these commodities, many times in conditions of poverty. So it's for these reasons that initially a group of 11 tire makers working under the umbrella of the Tire Industry Project on the World Business Council for Sustainable Development started looking at initiating a multi-stakeholder initiative to define sustainability in the natural rubber sector. And this is where GPSNR was born. And now we are a large organization. After 2 years, from 11 companies, we have now 93 members, spanning from the small producers, of which we have 28 representatives from 7 countries in the platform, to the processors and traders, the tire makers and other natural rubber makers, as well as car makers and other downstream users and financial institutions, and civil society organizations being members or having the possibility of becoming member of the platform. Together with these that represent the ordinary members of GPSNR, we also have a category for affiliate membership, especially for associations and very importantly for academia organizations. And these academics have helped since the inception of GPSNR to build a solid scientific foundation for the work that we do. The organization is structured so that the membership really drives the decision-making in GPSNR. We have a General Assembly that is composed of all the members from the 5 different categories of GPSNR, and each of these categories have an equal voting weight in the GPSNR. These categories also have the chance to elect their representatives at the executive committee level, and this executive committee then appoints the work of different working groups with the support of the secretariat, of which I am the director. So from the beginning of GPSNR, we looked at the two key pillars that you see on the left of the screen. So we looked at smallholder representation. So we tried to onboard smallholders in the organization, and we did so by having now representation from different countries and smallholders from these countries. And we also, and most importantly, looked at the strategy and objectives of the organization. So what is it that we want to achieve? What is the desired state the members want to reach together? And what are the gaps between this desired state and the place where we are now in the natural rubber value chain? So by doing this exercise of identifying these gaps, we then look at identifying what are the potential solutions that GPSNR can work on to fill those gaps. And the members came up with three pillars that then became the three working groups that you see on the right side of the screen. So we started working on a policy toolbox working group, and this working group has come up with a charter for GPSNR and what we call our policy framework. And now companies, from the approval of this policy framework, which happened in September this year, will have 6 to 12 months to adapt or create new policies for sustainable production and sourcing of natural rubber that are aligned with these key commitments. We also have work on a capacity building working group, and in this working group we have identified key countries where GPSNR will work on improving good agricultural practices distribution, as well as looking at improving access to good planting materials and inputs, and improving equity in the supply chain. We also have a group that is working on traceability and transparency. And this is very important because especially for a commodity like natural rubber, where the sourcing is very broad as a base and where a few companies are sourcing from potentially all the geography globally, it is very difficult for a single company to fully map their supply chain to the farmer. Yeah. And so we require collaboration to work on systems such as satellite mapping and protocols for traceability, where we can leverage the work of different companies coming together to have better visibility into the supply chains. So going back to the policy commitments of the companies, this is what our companies have signed up to. So we have a strong policy framework now with 8 commitments that range from legal compliance to healthy and functioning ecosystems, respect of human rights, community livelihoods, production efficiency, and also commitments to ensure that the processes brought up by the companies drive the effective implementation of the components, with special attention to supply chain assessment, traceability, and management, and with the understanding that monitoring and reporting and continuous improvement will be very important in the approach that GPSNR will take. So with this, let me tell you why I would urge you, if you have a say in the supply chain, if you are participating in the production or purchasing of products that contain natural rubber, why would it be so important for you to participate in this effort? Well, as a member of the platform, you will be able to set the agenda for sustainable natural rubber in your sector and specifically for your supply chain. So bring in the experience that you have and understand what could be solutions that really apply to your specific sector and your specific situation. You could also leverage on the outcomes of collaborative efforts and on the research and access to innovative tools that such a broader membership as GPSNR's one could give you. And of course, demonstrate the leadership on what are the very important and very timely contribution now to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So with that, I thank you, and I hope that if you are interested in knowing more about GPSNR, you will be able to reach out to me in the future, and all the best for a good continuation of this event today. Thank you.